All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. For those of you who are watching on social media or YouTube, I'm John Dietz, trainer, coach, business builder. Super glad to be here. Last Thursday, we talked about strategic pricing. And towards the end of last Thursday, I shared with you that we were going to come back this week and pick up the conversation. There's more to share. And one of the things that I definitely want to talk with you about today is pricing per square foot. Uh, should you price based on price per square foot? Should you not? Why? What's going to impact the value of the home? So we're going to go over all of that. All right, first of all, just quick review. Strategic pricing conversations are different than pricing conversations. Strategic pricing conversations are based on where your seller needs to be in order to beat the competition. Now, I want you to go all the way back to the first part of the listing appointment in the needs analysis. The part of the listing appointment where you ask, well, let's go back even further. Whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of three things typically happen, Olga. Either they hire me, which is awesome, or they don't hire me, and that's not so awesome. And the third thing that occasionally happens is I may choose to turn down the opportunity. Now, you may be wondering why I would turn down the opportunity, and I think you're going to really like the answer. You see, if I feel that a seller has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met, I'm not going to say it like that. I said it for you guys. I want you to hear, I didn't say that I cannot meet. Words matter. Very different message here. If a seller has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met, I would rather turn down the opportunity today than let you down 6 months from now. Now, in order for me to know if I can meet your goals and exceed your expectations, I need to ask a couple of questions. This is transitioning to the needs analysis. And I'm simply going to ask, Crystal, so on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so good and 10 being awesome, what needs to happen? It's not what one thing needs to happen. It's what needs to happen in order for this experience to be a 10. Now, let's say Crystal says, I need to get my price. Common response. And your response to that, go right back into your playbook. Your response to that is, what does that look like? What price do you have in mind? And Crystal says, $575. Got it. Now, Crystal, tell me what that would do for you. Listen to what they say. Pay attention to what they say. Take notes. Look for opportunities to go even deeper. The process is called going 3 deep because usually the motivation is down here, not up here. Surface level, you're snorkeling, you're just going to hear the surface level goal. The real goal is down here where you're scuba diving. So you got to go 3 deep in order to find the real goal. Now, let's say Crystal's goals are she wants to get $575,000 for her home, and she wants to sell her home in 30 days or less because she's moving to Atlanta in order to start a new job. All right, cool. Got her motivation. We're ready to go. Now we're going to have a strategic pricing conversation, not a pricing conversation. And the strategic pricing conversation is, what does Crystal need to do in order to beat her competition? There are, hold on. Good enough. There's 18 homes that are currently active in Crystal's price range. That's her competition. And there are 3 selling every 30 days. So we have a 6-month supply of inventory. More importantly, Crystal needs to be one of the 3 that it's going to sell. So where do we need to be in order to be one of 3 homes that sell in the next 30 days in order to beat the competition? All right, let's transition to price per square foot. So remember, sellers go to script school too. The good news is they don't have very many scripts. And the good news is also that you have all of the responses in your playbook to respond to these seller scripts. And one of this mindset seller script conversations you're going to hear is, Well, the average price per square foot in my neighborhood is $200 per square foot. I've got a 3,000 square foot home, so therefore my home is worth X. All right. Here's the problem with that. And if I'm sitting at the kitchen table, guys, this is exactly how I'm having the conversation with the seller, just so you know. You've got two boxes. One is obviously bigger than the other. Now, both of those boxes are a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage home. They're both in a subdivision. Let's say they both have pools, you know, here in Florida, that's important. And they're similar homes. And you've got one that is 3,000 square feet. You've got another one that's 2,000 square feet. Now remember, they're both 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. Sorry, guys. And they have 2-car garage. They both have pools. They both back up to another home. So location is the same. They have kitchens. The kitchens are similar or ideal. It costs the same amount of money to build the kitchen in home A as it did home B. If you divided the cost of building that kitchen by the square foot, it's going to be a higher price per square foot in home B than home A, simply because you're dividing the improvements into a smaller space. I'm going to pause for a moment, and I know that this is really simple and basic stuff, but I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Does this make sense to you? I'm not role playing for you. I'm talking to all of you out there that are listening to me. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. If anybody agrees with me, don't be shy. Jump in here and say, but John. Okay. We're all good? All right. Now, if I took the price per square foot from home B that just sold 2 months ago, so it's a comparable property based on the fact that it's in the neighborhood, it's 3 bedrooms, it's 2 baths, it's a 2-car garage, location is similar, but it's substantially smaller. So really it's not a comparable property. Let's do this. Let's make it 2,700 square foot. Now it's a comparable property. And if I took the price per square foot from home B and I used that price to price the subject property, I'm going to overprice the listing. You guys getting that? Mm. Now, there's other things that are going to impact this as well. If one of these homes has water behind it and the other one doesn't, and I use price per square foot, not taking into consideration location, which homeowners are going to do all the time, then I'm going to overprice the subject property. If both homes back to the water, now let's make them both identical. They're both 3,000 square foot. Give me a reason why one, if everything is equal, they both have the same improvements, built the same year, look the same. This is for all of you who are selling homes in waterfront communities where you have access to the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean. What would cause the value of one to be considerably higher than the value of the other? Anybody want to take a guess?
Well, in Austin, we're not by the ocean, but we're near the lake. And sometimes just maybe the access to the lake, like direct access from the house.
There you got it, Gilbert. It's the same thing. So here in Florida, you have these neighborhoods with bridges. And some neighborhoods will have a fixed bridge, right? And you can only get a small boat under that bridge. So you don't have unlimited access to the ocean. That home is going to sell for considerably less than a home that has direct access to the ocean with no fixed bridges. Makes a big difference. For those of you who are like up in the Port Richey area, if you look at homes like, oh my gosh, Beth, what's the name of the neighborhood? I want to say Golden Acres, but I know that's wrong. It's up there, but it's the wrong neighborhood. Gulf Harbors.
Gulf Harbors,
So yeah, Gulf Harbors. So if you look at homes in Gulf Harbors, for example, there's some homes where the home is really deep into the neighborhood, and it's a 20-minute ride idle speed to the open ocean. They still have unlimited access. There's no fixed bridges, so you can have a big boat, but it's a 20-minute idle ride to the ocean. That home's going to sell for less than a home that you're right there, one quick turn, and you're in the ocean. Going to make a big difference. Go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, I have a house on the other side of that bridge. And everybody talks about the bridge. Now, all you have to do is go right under the bridge and make a left and you're at the Gulf. But
is it a fixed bridge?
You got to get under the bridge. You have to watch
Fixed
the
bridge.
tide.
Okay, so anybody that has a boat that is, and we're not talking big boats here, guys. We're talking like a 21-foot boat with a fishing tower on it that's fixed. It ain't getting under that bridge. And that's going to make a difference in pricing that home.
Right. There's a bridge that it depends on the tide as to whether certain boats can get under it. So
that's right.
It's not unlimited, like you're saying.
That's right. That's right. Debbie, I don't know why I didn't see you there. I would have called on you. You live in Gulf Harbor.
Lives there.
Yeah, so you got it. All right. What else? Homes that back to a busy street, they're going to sell for less money than homes that don't back to a busy street. It's just a
or
fact.
that are just on a busy street.
Or they're on a busy street. It's a matter of fact, Crystal. And you're going to talk to homeowners that are say things like, but I like living on the street. I get to sit outside and watch the cars go by. So playbook, what's your response when you hear that? My response is, you're not buying your home. If you were buying your home, then we're good. And I don't disagree with you. I love your home too. By the way, I'm one of those people that would sit outside and watch cars drive by. Kind of weird that way. But I'm not buying your home either. Now, if I was buying your home or you were buying your home, we're good. And we're not. Homes that back to conservation or green areas are going to sell for more money. Homes that back to water are going to sell for more money. Now, there's a difference between backing to a canal that's 5 foot wide and backing to a large lake. But have any of you ever been in a home that's advertised as waterfront in the MLS, and you go to the neighborhood and you're standing out back, you're like, where's the water? I can't see it. And the real estate agent took the listing. He's like, well, if you walk down to the edge of the property and you turn to the left, you can see it. It's kind of down there. Raise your hand if you've been to any of those properties. Yeah, me too. Right?
John, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Another one that complicates things even more in Austin is the water levels with lake.
There you go.
In one season where the water is up high and you have this unbelievable view and your boat slip is feet. And then another year like we're in now, we're in a drought.
That's right.
It's like you have to pull the boat slip out.
That's right.
Hundreds of yards, and that decreases the value of that property.
Gilbert, that's a really good point. You're absolutely right. That is going to make a big difference. I know Lake Lanier in Atlanta, Georgia, I forget what year it was, but they were in a really bad drought. And you'd go out in these boats that were usually, they're high and dry, right? They're on a lift and they're usually like a foot above the water. And during that drought, they were like 5-6 feet above the water. And there was no boating, because if you dropped your boat in the water, the water was less than a foot deep. So you ain't going anywhere. If your home backs to a golf course, it's going to add value. It is. But if you're representing a buyer who's buying in a golf course community, one of the things you better do is check the financials for the golf course, because what happens if the golf course closes? And that happens. What happens to the values of those homes? Debbie, I'll go back to you. At one point, Gulf Harbors had a golf course.
Yep, those values go down.
Now, 100% they go down. Now, what do you do with that golf course? Well, you could build more homes, but it's not as easy as it sounds. And in most cases, Debbie, I'll go back to you. How many years ago did that golf course close in Gulf Harbors?
Oh my gosh, years. I don't even know the number.
So it was a long time ago. And
Yes.
what have they done with that land? Are they building on that land, or is it still just grass?
It is still just grass. They cannot build on it. It's wetlands, and the idea was to turn it into a park, but because it's wetlands, it's not going to be much of a park.
Okay, so if you're representing a buyer, you better make sure that you check to see, and depending on what part of the country you live in, golf course, owning a golf course, the financial books for a golf course, they don't look as good as they did 10, 15, 20 years ago. They're not making a whole lot of money. So it's not a guarantee that golf course is always going to be there. So make sure you're checking on that when you're representing the buyer. All right, guys, I've got 9:23. So that's it. I just wanted to give you, and I did this for Sean, and he's not here, so hopefully he'll watch the recording. I wanted to give you some very basic information on pricing per square foot and why you don't want to do that. Or if you are going to do that, you need to make adjustments, and you need to, again, it's observation, forecast, persuasion. You need to have the conversation mastered, the art of persuasion, in order to help your seller understand that price per square foot is a bad strategy when pricing your home. It can cause you to significantly overprice that property. All right.
Thank you.
Give me one or two ahas and we'll jump. Jonathan, it was great seeing you yesterday. Thank you for coming to my class. Really good hanging out with you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I learned a lot. Took lots of notes.
Good. Yeah, you were nonstop typing, dude. I don't know how you do that, but you were. All right.
One of the things that I also add when we're talking price per square foot, because of course sellers do discuss that, is I also explain to them that in addition to price per square foot, we have to have respect for minimum and maximum price of the neighborhood,
Right.
regardless of what your size of home is. Because sometimes, you know, there's a huge home, and if you do price per square foot, it's going to be way higher than the rest of the neighborhood is. And a lot of times if that happens, that buyer is going to go to a neighborhood that's close by that is at a higher price point, so they're not the most expensive home in the neighborhood.
That's right. That's right. Good point, Gilbert. You know, one more thing I just thought of. Clarissa's here and she's in South Florida, the Broward County, Coral Springs area where I worked for 8 years. And one of the things I know about most of those communities is they have restrictions that you have to have a tile roof. All right. So think about that for a moment. If you have two homes, they're both 2,000 square foot side by side. One's a ranch, one's a 2-story home. Which one costs more to build?
Ranch.
Absolutely. Can anybody explain to me why? Pretend I'm a seller who totally doesn't get this.
Or roof.
Explain to me why.
Well, there's more concrete for the foundation, there's longer lines for plumbing, there's longer lines for electrical in most cases, it's going across versus up, and then same for roof.
There you go. Thank you, Gilbert. Guys, don't assume your clients know this. Don't assume. You want to help them understand this in order to meet their goals, exceed their expectations. All right, that's a wrap. Make it a great day, everybody.
Thanks, John.
All right, bye for now.